What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining me on Buzzing with Marlo live. I'll say it again, live. I hope everybody's doing well. Happy Friday, guys. It is here. The weekend is upon us. You can't go wrong with this, man. This is awesome. This is another exciting Friday of Buzzing with Marlo, guys. I am yours truly, Warren Marlo, guys. If you haven't, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to all our platforms. uh, it helps us, man. It helps us grow. Helps us grow. Also keeps you in tune to all the wonderful episodes, guys. Also check out our bonfire shop. We literally are selling out. Let me tell you again, selling out. It is insane. Uh, it's wintertime, as you can tell, is gone. Wintertime is bye. Uh, you can tell by the nice apparel I got. Also, guys, breaking news: Buzzing with Marlo now has tank tops. Yes. I've been waiting so anxiously to be able to make tank tops, and Bonfire has definitely made that happen, guys. Also, if you put the promo code Buzz20, you get 10% off. Also, guys, we are in March, so guess what, guys? We are doing the drawing. Like I said, guys, we are doing entering a nice little giveaway. So basically, is what you do: you purchase some item, you screenshot it, you send it to me. I give you a shout out, and more importantly, you put yourself into a draw for an awesome prize at the end of the month. Can't go wrong, guys. I cannot spoil it. I'm very excited to do it. It's going to be amazing. Be the first giveaway, man. I'm looking forward to it. But guys, we also, if you're not a big tank top fan, I mean, I gotta kind of show off a little bit of arms, getting in there, got arms today, so I'm a little down a little bit today, but it's about to be there. But guys, also, if you are into the winter clothes and stuff, guess what, guys? We have the hoodies. That's right, guys. That's one of my favorite ones, the white ones. Very comfortable. Cannot go wrong. You will be warm. Let me just put that in perspective. You will be warm wearing those things. Also, guys, we have the original t-shirts, judgmental, no, all sizes, every single one. Also, you have a selection of different colors. We have currently right here on the premium unisex tee is gray, white, dark blue, black, and red. Also, guys, I have one of my also personal favorites, the V-necks, guys. Those are in any color. You can get those on the Bonfire Shop. Also, ladies, we know March is coming. The summer apparels are starting to rise. We have also the Razorback tees. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Razor tank tops for the women. We also have Carrie Pink. That is one of our personal favorites so far. A lot of people have really been enjoying the pink. Oh, what a coincidence. But guys, those are some of the merch that we have. Also, we have long sleeves, and these have been the very personal big favorites, which I'm kind of shocked on, are the 3/4 baseball tees. Those have been selling out very well. Guys, check out Bonfire and check the promo code Buzz20 to get 10% off and enter into the big drawing for the March giveaway. Guys, we are still in season 3. This is episode 89. 89, guys. 89. Man, what a challenge. What a whole chapter we have had just for season 3, guys. We went from just doing audio to finally now doing video, and we're not stopping. We're not stopping. A little bit about what's going on for me. I'm actually currently about to go get my son. We get to have him for a week. He lives with his mom 8 hours away, and he's got spring break coming, so I'm looking so forward to that. Uh, Even though it's a week, I'm just happy just to have him and see him, and he's ready to come home. It's hot weather time. He's in the Georgia area, so still like in between weather, but he loves that Florida weather. He knows, hey, pool time and stuff like that. So we're looking so forward to that. And even importantly, the next following month is Autism Awareness Month and his birthday. He will officially be 10, and it's so crazy. It's crazy to believe I'm going to have a 10-year-old, but also, guys, like I just mentioned about autism awareness, um, we are going to do a personal campaign and like how we've been selling shirts and merch and stuff like that, but we're gonna do a personal logo that's gonna symbolize for autism awareness. If y'all don't know, if you're new to the channel, whatever, I am a father of my son has autism. He is on the autism spectrum, and just one thing about him, man, is just his memory is just insane. There's so many symptoms for someone to actually be on the autism spectrum. It's crazy to believe. My son had over 50 of them, and it's just crazy. Like I've learned so much in just being able to raise him and just to see how much he's grown, and even better, man, he's a great role model for my 3 year old. My daughter's having a little bit of trouble speaking. She's getting like if she listens to music and stuff, she's like at a very good speech level. But when it's not music or anything like that, it's just mumbling or she's around somebody, she might copy what they're saying. But especially with him coming home, that's gonna help her out, help her grow a little bit too, and her getting to see her brother is just gonna be an awesome thing. So I'm very looking forward to this fall and week coming up. It's very exciting, very exciting. But guys, like I said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to all our channels. Also on all our platforms, we still do audio. Currently, the main ones are obviously Spotify, Buzzsprout, Anchor, Podbean, Podchaser, and most importantly, iHeartRadio. So if you just like the audio version, check it out. Buzzing with Marlo. All right, guys, we have had crazy milestone. Like I will say this right now, on YouTube right now, we are currently at 130 subscribers. Round of applause for all of y'all, man. We finally made it to a big 130. That's a huge accomplishment. So blessed from it, man. Four months in doing this channel and growing that much. Also, guys, shockingly, we are growing on Twitch. So if you are a gamer and you are mainly like on Twitch and stuff like that, you can actually catch Buzzing with Marlo episodes every day. When I say every day, they're not newer episodes. It's literally a whole marathon. So you can just constantly, if you need to keep up with some of the episodes, you can check it out on Twitch on our Buzzing with Marlo Twitch channel. Uh, yeah, that's all the content we got, man. It's crazy to see how much we're growing each every month, every week. Major shout out to the concert we just had at Cub Libre in Jacksonville. My boy Jay Lyric, he killed it on one night at Harlem. Killed it. It was such an awesome thing. But guys, I'm done babbling on. So I know everybody's looking forward to our guest today. So today, guys, our guest is Renee Bergman, nutrition practitioner. She's only been doing it for 2 years, but man, just the knowledge that she has, and we're gonna really tack on to what are the main reasons of basically helping your gut health. Guys, I know summer is coming. We all want to look good in bathing suits, swim trunks, whatever. I mean, that's one cool thing about the summertime. We get to go off, be a little less clothing wise, and go and try to get in the sun, get a tan or something like that. And I know a lot of people have trouble with comfortability around people that either are personally fit or just don't don't see themselves that way. So hopefully we can talk a little bit about that, guys. So when we come back, we will be joined with Renee Bergman. And guess what, guys? The countdown from 30 to 1 will start just right about. Are you ready? Are you ready? Because now it is time now. All right, guys, I'm joined with Renee Bergman. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It is Friday. Whew, what a week. What some weeks we had. So Renee, where are you currently at right now?
I actually live in Phoenix, Arizona, but I just
Oh,
moved here
okay.
from San Francisco, California. So,
Oh, so one hot area to another. Okay.
we're experiencing the joy of lots of sunshine because actually it seems like because I lived in California that I had a lot of sun, but not in San Francisco. It's very
Oh,
foggy.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
I'm
how
in
long did you live in San Francisco?
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So good
That's
long
pretty cool.
stretch.
I've
Yeah.
heard some stories about Arizona, and I mean, I live in Florida, and it gets hot there, but I've heard Arizona it is a sweating factor for sure.
Yes, yes, it's a hot one. You know what though? We don't have the humidity that you do in Florida, so
Okay.
that's helpful.
Okay, I like it. All right, so Renee, if no one knows who you are, tell us a
Yeah,
little bit about yourself.
yeah. So I run Megaphone Functional Health, and I'm a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, which is a bunch of words that basically means I'm a health detective. So I
Okay.
get to the root causes of why people are struggling with energy depletion, gut problems, hormone rises and falls, and things going wrong with that, and really help get to the root of why those things are occurring and how to
Hmm.
turn them around so that people can feel their best.
Okay, I like that. I like how you said like the detective. That's something new. I haven't heard that one yet. I like
Yeah.
that one. So, what got you into this occupation? Were you always committed to doing something like this, or was it something that just kind of like falled in your lap, basically?
Well, actually, so when I did my undergrad, I actually was pre-med, which was a long
Hmm.
time ago. But I've always had a real love for medicine and for the body and wanted to really learn a lot about that. I didn't end up going to med school,
Okay.
basically because I was in my 20s and I decided that it was too hard to go to class as often as you had to go when you were
Hmm.
needing to start med school, which is like the basic 20-year-old mindset,
You're
right?
not lying. You're not lying.
Right.
I went
So
to
I,
FAU and stuff like that, and yeah, I just found out I was gonna be a father because I actually went there to play basketball, and
okay.
so obviously we're gonna look at the occupation as like whatever gets me to get to play sports because you gotta have the grades to play sports. So I would
Yeah.
do the most simplest thing. Okay, we'll do business because I did have I had a personal training background and stuff, and I loved helping people and I love staying fit. So I was like, you know what? Why not get paid for it if I don't play professional basketball? So I look at doing a personal trainer. So I went to go for business. I didn't finish it all, but like how you just said, it's like staying in class is just and around your 20s, you're just like, I just got done with this in high school. Like,
I
why
know. I
why
know.
going back? Like I was like,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
teachers just around. I mean, it's not like they even. The craziest thing what I learned from high school, from college, was the teachers just didn't care,
Yeah.
and literally it is on you. They don't
Yeah.
care if you had your homework, not if you doing the work or what. They're like, look, I'm paid either way.
I get
My
paid
high
either
school
way.
teachers and stuff like that were more focused on you,
Yeah.
and that was one thing I had to learn was just like, oh, it's on me. Like this is
Yeah.
all on me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I ended up finishing my degree in biology. So I got a degree in
Okay.
biology. Um, but then I got married, had kids, and one of my children had major health issues when he was born. And so that really took me down the journey of figuring out, like, how do I really support my son
Hmm.
he was having massive gut issues. And so he was put on a feeding tube when he was really young and just really struggling. And so after really having a lot of unanswered questions through traditional medicine, I
Hmm.
started to do my own research. I started to figure things out on my own. How do I approach this from a holistic standpoint? And I'd kind of always been a hippie in my life, and it just threw me further and further into it. And
Yeah.
so then flash forward, when I was about 35, I got really sick and I was being diagnosed with early onset lymphoma.
Oh
And
wow.
I decided to go a natural approach to the cancer and to the autoimmune. Lymphoma is actually an autoimmune
Yeah.
cancer. So it's both worlds. It's autoimmune disease and it's cancer. And
Yeah.
so I ended up going to a functional medicine clinic where I approached everything from a very natural standpoint. And what I discovered is that I had been sick for a long time and I just didn't know how sick I had
Mm-hmm. It just
been.
didn't really show until
Yeah, until
now.
it really like
Interesting.
came to the surface. And so after that, I really had such a desire to learn how to help others. And so I went back to school. I got my degree in functional nutrition and learned how to run labs on people. So I run functional labs on people to really get to the root issues of what's going on in the gut, the hormones, their minerals, food sensitivity, if they have any mold exposure, all these
Oh
different
wow.
arenas that really help us discover why people are not feeling well. And really
Mm-hmm.
what we know about disease, any disease, the root of it is inflammation. And so I help get to the root of where is that inflammation coming from? How do we reverse it and how do we change it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of what got me into the field. And the last couple of years has been phenomenal, getting to watch people just really change and heal and be able to live full lives. And I actually work with a lot of kids. So hearing you talk about your son that has autism,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big, I work with a lot of kids that have lots of different learning, that they're on
Right.
the spectrum for different learning issues. And because we know that the gut brain axis is so key in
Mm-hmm.
how we process the world and how we process life. And I love, I have two kids that they have different ways that they look at the world. That's the way that I like to really think about it and look at it. And especially when you engage with someone that has autism, they don't have a disability, man. They just have an ability to see the world through a different
They
lens.
got another brain.
They
Like
do. And they have so much.
it's like when I did professional wrestling, I had bad memory losses, and I kind of still do to this day sometimes because I
Mm,
mean I've had concussions and stuff like that.
yeah.
I used to nickname my son the Notepad because my son could tell me everything that happened, if it was good or bad. Matthew could tell. The craziest thing is with his autism and stuff. This is kind of like how we knew he was kind of diagnosed with autism. Is he would have a comfort zone, and it was the most weirdest comfort. My son didn't care for stuffed animals or a blanket or anything like that. He had to have a fan. He had to have one of those little handheld fans. And those little cheap ones at Walmart, the little characters or something, and they just sit there blowing your face and you can squirt it, whatever. He just wanted it because it just sits there and go around and around.
Yeah.
And that comforted him. And literally that's when his brain would like click instantly. Like
Yeah.
when he comes home, he's gonna look at his bedroom and he has like 5 fans in his room,
Yeah.
and he could tell you exactly where it's made, where it came from,
So
how
great.
it was bought, and he wasn't even around where we bought the fan. That's even the crazy part. He could tell you everything about this fan, and it just blew my mind. It was like that's
Yeah.
how like we like that when I was dating my wife at the time when we were first dating, and she was nervous about Matthew because I told her about him being special needs and stuff like that and all this, and she was very nervous with it. She was excited but nervous in the same time just because she didn't know how to approach him and stuff like that. And I told her, I said, all you gotta do is just have fans around him. He will be calm. He will be completely calm. And
Oh, I love
the
that.
rest is history. It's just like
Yeah.
he literally I joke with people. I say he's gonna have a fan museum when he hits like 18 or
Yeah.
something. Literally, like
I
if
think
it's
that's what's
involving a
so
fan,
special
he's
about those kids.
educated.
Yeah, I think
Oh
that's what's
yeah.
so special about these kids is they just have a lot to offer the world that
If they're focused on it, they know it. If they ain't focused on it,
yeah.
don't expect it to change.
Yeah.
My son hates math.
The
Hates math.
other thing that's really phenomenal is, what I find in my own practice is a lot of the kids that I work with that have these different things, different learning ways and
Mm-hmm.
different ways of their brain functioning, is that they often have a very similar gut makeup. And so that's why the gut is so key, is because
Yep.
you see that there's some missing components of like bacterial growth that should be in their gut,
Mm-hmm.
that most of us have. So we all have like normal flora. And a lot of these
Mm-hmm.
kids have these missing components. And so that's one of the tests that I run. It's called a GI map. And it's 89 different markers of what's happening in the intestinal tract and tells us
Right.
why the body is misfiring or maybe not doing the right things. And it's phenomenal when you can figure out where those missing pieces are and fill them in. you
It's
know,
like a
because it
challenge
just
for
gives
you.
them,
It kind of
yeah,
like gives you that incentive, like, hey man, this is why I'm doing this. This makes it really cool in a
yeah, and a lot of
standpoint.
these kids, when you start filling those gaps in, it's amazing how they begin to thrive in school. They begin to have like more ability to focus on the things that we're kind of needing them to focus on.
Yeah.
They just really grow. A lot of times their vocabulary grows if they struggle with
Hmm.
language, all those things, because again, that gut brain axis is so key. Our gut is what tells our brain how to be happy, how to use the right hormone.
Yeah.
And so when we really focus in on the gut, we look a lot at how are you pooping? It's a big part of my practice. We talk a lot about
I've
body.
learned how serious that is now because I have a 3-year-old and Annabelle, we know what we need to kind of change up on her eating habits is like
That's
because
right.
she loves freaking the cheese puffs,
Mm,
the popcorn cheese puff ones, the ones that just basically dissolve in your mouth. She can
yes,
eat those all day of the week,
I
and
know.
sometimes we can't let her have it because it constipates her and she won't go to the bathroom that day, and
Yep,
then it could go 2 days without her going to the bathroom. And I'm just like, all right, you're cut off. You can't
yep.
have this no more. And
And you know
she
what?
would
You
throw
have to
the
eat.
fit.
It's such a
Oh
key
my
component of
gosh.
making sure that our body is eliminating what it needs to eliminate. It's our body's way of getting rid of the waste that
Yep.
it doesn't need and pulling out any toxins out of our body. And
Hmm.
so we focus a lot of that in my
It's
practice.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
so crazy. Like when I had my son, like I had challenges. I still have challenges today because he's not just autistic. He has autistic myofibrosis. He was having trouble walking until he was like
Mm,
6. He's now fully walking, healthy and everything, but we have to worry about his back in the long run, basically, because it's already kind of like this. So
mm,
hopefully in the next 2 years we ain't got to worry about him being on a back brace forever, but it is what it is.
heavy.
But
Yeah.
then when I have my daughter, it's just like because she has a speech problem, and I don't even recognize this because I didn't have this joys that I got with her that I had with my son because my son wasn't speaking nothing.
Mm,
I mean nothing. He looked at you, that was all you got out of him. The funny thing is the first word he actually came out of his mouth, he said John Cena. And like out of anything, that was like the number one thing that
love
came
it.
out of his mouth was John Cena. And he loved that was his Superman. That was his guy.
Oh,
And
that's so good.
literally with my daughter, she's saying some words, but it's not like full sentences. And then we just took her to a speech therapist person, and it was just like I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't think she needs to be speaking full sentences at 3. And they were like, nah, she needs to be saying this and this. I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I'm
Mm,
still trying to get my process in. I'm like, she's ahead in my opinion, but they're telling me, nah, she's not. And it just blows my mind, like how they expect kids to be like at
yeah,
3 years old, and it's just like, is it really that perspective that people literally go, my child should be speaking like 2 sentences at like 2.5 years old, and I'm just like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like I've got my son here, and then my daughter, she's way more developed in my opinion,
right.
and
Yeah,
it's just like
one.
she's
That's
still
hard to
behind. I'm just like, oh
see.
my gosh, I just can't. It's like, okay, if they say it's behind, but cool, but I'm like, she's still learning. Like music wise, she could tell you any verse that's going on in that one song.
Yeah,
There's a song by Nick Jonas, Home. I don't know if you saw the movie Ferdinand, the one where John Cena plays
of
as
course.
the bull thing.
Oh,
She
yeah.
loves that music video. That is literally her whole day. We have to listen to Home at least 5 to 6 times. I pick that song over Cocomelon any day of the week. That's just yeah.
That's funny.
But
That's
it's
funny.
just crazy like how they see stuff like that. And I love how
Yeah,
you say stuff about the gut health. People take it in so many different ways. And
yeah,
I mean, I used to be a real mean person. Like I would have Snapchats or stuff like I'd look at them and go, you know what? You could have a burger and it still look good too. And I used to be like that. Now that I got 30 and it's just like, now I can't, I gotta slow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
The
Well, the thing
shredness
is,
is easing
the
up a
older
little
we
bit.
get, the older we get, the more we lose what we call adaptive reserve. And so your
Yeah.
adaptive reserve is like this, your body's kind of ability to bounce back after things. So yeah, in your
Hmm.
20s, that's why in your 20s you have this ability to drink whatever you want
Oh
and an
man.
ability to eat whatever you want. Well, you think you do. What you don't realize is you are having symptoms probably along the way, but if things aren't functioning
It's
properly, but
just storing right up.
you can kind of rebound from it quicker. And then
It's
you
just
hit
put
your
in
30s.
layaway, like I like to call it. It's just in
Yeah.
layaway. It's just gonna come back at the last minute.
Yeah. But then you hit your 30s and your body says, "Oh man, I'm not doing so well. And there's some areas that I don't know how to
Hmm.
use and
No
process."
Burger King today.
Yeah. Yeah. So your liver, your liver's got to have a lot of love.
Yeah.
That's a lot of what we focus on in the practice. Is I don't focus on diet in the sense of like you need to remove all these foods, because I really love a perspective of being body positive, of like you can have health at every size. You can really eat what your body is asking for, so like intuitive
Hmm.
eating, like really listening to what your body's asking for and what it
I do
needs.
the macro.
Yeah. And so your body will tell you what it's seeking out and what it's looking for. And then lots of focus on what your movements are and how those movements
Hmm.
play into, how you feel throughout your day. Here's what's interesting, especially in your field, because you are someone that is big into working out and you've wrestled and all of those things. A lot of times when you have gut dysfunction, all of a sudden workouts stop being having that like energy boost for you. They start to
Hmm.
deplete you. And so
Where you hit that plateau.
yep, you got to start working on the gut health. You got to work on your minerals. You have to see where things are at. So I test people's hair. They send it to a lab and it tells us, do they have enough
Test their
minerals?
hair.
Yeah, because your hair tells us how much mineral complexes in your body. You can tell a lot from a hair sample. Isn't that
Really?
crazy?
So how strong is like when you say it like that? Like you could tell like how unhealthy food wise they've had just based off of their hair.
I can tell what their mineral deficiencies are and what heavy toxic load they have. So if they have any heavy metals, if they have insufficiencies. So your four primary minerals are sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium.
I'm
And when
magnesium.
those
Yeah.
are out of balance, it's like not having a starter on the engine of your car. That's why
Hmm.
you're super depleted. So, like if you're working out and it doesn't energize you, most likely you have an energy deficiency and your gut is out of whack. You got to correct
Okay.
those for energy to be regained from working out. Otherwise, working out is kind of pointless for you because you're just putting more stress on the body. It can't handle it. It doesn't have the ability.
It
So,
helps the outside, but obviously in the inside, that's where that caused the major
You
issues and
know,
stuff in the
you know
long
what
run.
though? I hear from tons of people that they are working out super hard and it doesn't help the outside. It
Really?
doesn't. Eventually your body stops like responding to it because it doesn't
Okay.
have the
Yeah.
right, ability to work the way that it's supposed to. And so people
Hmm.
will say, "I don't get it. I'm working out the same. I'm like eating the same. I'm doing all these things, but I'll even add in some workouts and I still feel terrible. My growth in my like maybe exercise plan isn't moving anywhere." And that's when we need to look at labs and look at functional labs and see what's the root cause. That's where my detective helmet comes on to figure out what's going on.
That's crazy. That's really neat to know. Like,
Yeah, so
so
if you're an athlete, it's super important to really take a look at all of those things. Look at your gut
yeah.
health, your minerals.
Well, so I started doing the macronutrition thing because like how I said, like I used to just eat whatever and be
Mhm.
okay, but now I've been more focused on stuff. And what I've learned in macronutrition is basically you can have some things, but you also need to make sure you're getting what you need first. So say like if I'm trying to build on weight, whatever, but I want to still not look chunky, that little flub in, or when you're trying to build bulk up, you need to have a lot of protein, but you need to put the right carbs in you. And then there's obviously your last minute carbs you can feed whatever you want, but if you just hit that level, and it's helped me for a while, and it's crazy just like how you could just be so used to it and stuff like that. Like when you start those protein chips and stuff, somebody that's never ate those before, they're just like, this is disgusting. Like, no. And it's so normal to me. They're like, man, what is wrong with you? And stuff like that. And I'm like, it tastes better. Like, I know you have you ever had those ones, the Quest Reese's, the Reese protein Reese's they have?
I
I
haven't.
believe they taste better than Reese's. And I actually made a mistake and tried a Reese's piece earlier, and I was like, "Oh, I can see the major difference in this. This is this, yeah." Like it just, you could tell how much sweeter it was, and like I tried to give my wife one, she looked at me and was like, "This is disgusting. This is terrible."
So
And
great.
I'm just like, man, this is what I like. Like those
Yeah.
taste fine to me. I prefer them over the Reese's bars, and people are looking at me like, no, that
You're
don't
a
have
kid.
sugar in it. I'm like, that's the point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sugar causes a lot of inflammation. Sugar
Oh,
is
I just had a
brings
30-day
us to
no
our death.
sugar ordeal, and it's crazy to believe how many things have sugar in them.
Isn't it
And
wild?
some of the things that like I had in my diet for the longest time, and I had to cut out of it. I'm just like, what am I gonna do? Like I used to
Yeah.
do like those little things where you put in the waters and stuff. And even if they say they're sugar free, there's still something that's partially of a sugar inside that product.
Yep.
And people argue with me left and right. No, man, those, because I used to do those Nero Mios, and yes, they are sugar free, ladies and gentlemen, but there is still a little particle in there that is possibly a sugar that gets in your water. So guess what? Defeats the whole purpose of sugar free.
Yes.
And it it was definitely troubling for the first 10 days, but after that 10 days it was just a breeze after that.
That's
Even
great.
though I have my kids at the time, I kind of like, I try to stay on a strict eating ordeal, whatever, but um what I'll do is I actually pay a little bit extra money. I do the nutrition solutions where they just send me a good meals to the house, because when I have my son here and my daughter, there's no healthy food being cooked in this house. Like my son and my daughter live off of chicken nuggets and French fries, pizza. Um, we've now got on the world of quesadillas, and my kids are mind blown from it. It's like the newest thing to them. They're like, "This is a pizza right here." They call it a pizza, but
All right. So
it's
I got a way for you to hide some like green stuff in there for you. So when
we
you make
tried the veggie chicken nuggets, and like my daughter is like hooked on them. They're like cauliflower chicken
great,
nuggets.
great.
And if she would find out that these are chicken, she would probably never touch them again. They
Yeah.
look like, because we cook them in the air fryer, and they look like hash browns. And I
Yeah.
was just sitting there like, you could tell the major difference from this. I'm like, when we first cooked, I was like, she ain't gonna even try it. And my mom, my wife, and them, they went and gave it to her, and she ate it right there. I was like,
Great.
okay,
You
now
know what's
let's
really
try
good
peas.
with quesadillas to put spinach in the quesadilla, like lay spinach real flat because when you cook spinach,
Uh-huh.
it has no flavor, but they're getting the good
Yeah.
vitamins and greens, and it's folded in half so they don't see it.
Okay. My
So
son might find it.
you might,
Yeah, like I said, Matthew. Matthew
yeah,
don't like new things,
yeah,
and
and I get that. When I work with kids like your son, I have to really do a lot of work
he gets
pushing
he
it.
gets very frustrated if someone's trying to force him to eat something new.
Yeah.
The only reason why he actually went to a Mexican restaurant because they had a picture of John Cena on the wall,
Oh
and
wow.
that's the only reason why he even went into this restaurant, because it had wrestlers on the wall,
Okay.
and that was his comfort.
That's
And
great.
that's how I have to have my kids to eat at restaurants, is if there's a character or something based off of that, for them to go have that incentive to go, hey, I'll eat here today. Like
Yeah.
Sonic, they really believe Sonic is based off the video game. They don't know it's just a burger chain, whatever. They believe it's Sonic the Hedgehog that they're eating a burger and French fries from.
Oh my goodness.
When we have to go see the new Sonic movie, I'm gonna have to take Matthew to go see. I'm gonna have to take him to go to Sonic first before we go to the movie, because
That's
that's like his thing.
that
It's
is so
crazy
good.
how kids function with that. It's perfect in ways too, but it's just like, man, if y'all knew the secrets.
Yep. So good. Yeah. Well, tell me, what are some more questions you have about functional medicine and how it really supports you as an athlete?
So, is there any other way to like be able to discover it other than based off of your hair and stuff like that? Is there any other type of particles on a body or something like that that you can
Yeah.
actually discover
Yeah.
what's
So
wrong
when
with
I
their
work with
gut health?
clients, I work with people for up to a year when they work with me one on one. Sometimes I work with group coaching as well, where I'll have a group of people that go through the program together, and that's a little bit of a shorter program, and then they can decide if they want to do further testing. And the testings that you do are stool samples, so that's
Okay.
looking at what's going on with your gut health, and then urine samples because that tells us what's happening with your hormones. So it tells us not just if you're producing the hormones appropriately, but how do they relate to one another? So do you have
Right.
correct levels of estrogen to progesterone to testosterone?
Mhm.
And that goes for men and women because men create estrogen as well, and women create
Mhm.
testosterone as
Oh,
well.
I've heard about it. I
Yes.
was a little grossed out at first. I'm like, I don't believe that. And
What?
then
You're
I
like,
actually found out I was like, okay, that makes sense now.
yeah.
It
And
was
so
like you didn't want to believe it, but it's like, yeah, it's true.
yeah, a lot of men, that come to me if they're struggling with like working out and plateauing and having a hard time,
Uh-huh.
because they have estrogen dominance. And so they have too much estrogen, and we have to work on clearing their pathways for their liver to clear estrogen.
Mhm.
So they should have estrogen in their body, but they have to have the correct amount compared to what their testosterone levels are.
All right, can you explain that a little bit more? Because like
Yeah.
I got what you said about the actual estrogen part, but when you said
Yeah.
you had to replace the estrogen, to decrease it, how are the process to do that?
Yeah, so estrogen, the way estrogen works is it's like there's a faucet on all the time for everybody. Everybody is always creating estrogen and they're always eliminating it. So estrogen goes through the liver, so it has multiple detoxification phases, 1, 2 and 3. And it
Hmm.
has to go through the liver and the liver has to turn it to a water soluble matter and then it goes into the digestive tract for you to poop out and
Okay.
pee out. And so what happens is if the liver gets bogged down and it has a hard time processing things, it may not be going fast enough and converting the estrogen into the right format for you to
Hmm.
excrete it. And so that faucet that's turned on, so estrogen's continuing to be made, you're getting a backup of it. So it's
Right.
like the drain in your tub is not open for the water to keep flowing out, it's gotten clogged. And
It
so it's just
stores it
coming
up.
back
Yeah.
up the pipe system and staying in your body. So then it recirculates. So already used estrogen begins to recirculate into your body. And that's where we see a lot of like brain fog for people. We see people will talk about they like have extra weight around their like abdomen and hips that they struggle to get rid of. That's for men and women. And that's
Hmm.
also because that estrogen dominance is going on. And so you have to work on liver detoxification. So there's a few different things that I use different herbs to help with that. We use something called a castor oil pack, which is castor oil on like a on some cloth that you wrap around and let it sit on your liver so that it's like encouraging your liver to detoxify. You can go in saunas. So going in saunas is a great way because sweating helps your lymphatic system to push things out. You can do, you want to add a lot of fiber into your diet. So you want to like eat a lot of fiber so that you're
Hmm.
pooping appropriately. So you're making sure that things are flowing. So that's a big way that we work on that
It's
estrogen
crazy
dominance.
how to figure that. So
Testosterone.
what are your viewpoints on supplements? Like what are your viewpoints on the supplementations and like what are some of the main focus supplements that you would definitely recommend somebody
Yeah.
for to help gut health and stuff? Because we have the typical the generation, and I'm pretty sure you can back me on this. The generation that we have now, people need stuff that's handed to them, or it's basically like a pamphlet to them to like helps them like, hey, this is what helps it. And what one back thing that happened to me when I did wrestle and stuff like that, I always was, if I got hurt or something, I didn't really go from point one all the way to the end. I would find something to get me back faster and
Mhm.
quicker. And it kicked me in my butt 6 years because That's as long as I got to be a wrestler because of that 6 year tenure, because I did not do from option one all the way to the right process. I literally did, okay, what can get me from, say like I had a bad knee.
Disease.
Okay. I need 2 months to get back on this. So what can I do? I can try do one. Nah, this slows me down too much. So I'm gonna go to four, they go to 10. And it helped at first, but then it's just like it made it actually worse in the long run. And my neck and stuff like that, it's just crazy like how that all works out and how much it does. So I love how when you use the metaphor about the car, I tell people all the time, it's like you are a car. You are not going to be a Ferrari. You're not a Mustang. This is not a newer year for you. You have to adapt to that new year. And what kind of motor oil you're going to put in yourself? You going to put in the best engine fluid that you can right now, or are you just going to put what everybody else is putting in, the little medium, and that's only going to get you go so far. And then when you
For
get
sure.
the health and everything like that, it just builds up more and more. And one reason why I wanted to talk about supplements is because so many people see, oh, I need to get on supplements just to lose weight. And
Mm,
I tell people all the time, like, are you eating right? Like anybody, like how you said, anybody can go to the gym, but 90% of 90% of a transformation is going to be in the kitchen,
yeah.
and just stuff that you're doing outside of what a personal trainer standpoint was. And that's one reason why I kind of like had to ease my way out of being a legit personal trainer for the longest time, is because I could train you any day of the week in the gym. It's just what are you doing on your off time? And so
Yeah.
many people they wouldn't do anything at the off time, but when they come to me, they would be like, "Man, I see the same thing. Like you're not doing this right. You're not doing this." I'm like, "What are you doing outside of this?" No, I thought you get me this. You got me what you look like, and I'm like, "No, it's because I do this stuff outside of the gym as well. Like
Yeah.
I'm on top of my nutrition stuff. I'm 30 years old. I've rarely ever been sick. I've been sick total time, and I think when my mom watches this, I think she'll agree with me. I've only been sick in my entire life maybe 7 times,
Mm,
maybe seven, and that's a heck of a number.
yeah.
And I did get COVID about a year ago and stuff like that, but other than that, like I rarely ever get sick. Like since I've been with my wife 6 years now, she's only seen me sick twice the
Yeah.
whole 6 years that we've had.
Yeah.
And
And that's because if you're putting good whole food nutrition into your
it's
body's
just you got to
immune
take care of
system is
yourself. That's
building
the thing. And
to function.
you have to literally go, you know what, screw the narrative. Like literally, what can I do to fix this? And that's one thing I said with this generation now is they got to have a pamphlet, they got to have a handout, they got to have it to where they they know exactly when they can do start this date and when they're going to get the results. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way at
Yeah.
all. So, so what are some personal things that you would say about the supplements and stuff like that? What would be the
Yeah,
goods and the bads?
I think it's important to remember what the word is. It's supplement. So it's to
Mm-hmm.
supplement holes in nutrition. So nutrition has to come first because most of your vitamins and minerals need to come from whole foods,
Yep.
good grass-fed beefs, organic chicken, organic fruits and vegetables. Like you've got to eat really basic, all the basics of food. The more complex something is, if it comes from a box or from, a meal kit that is not that it's not
Mm-hmm.
with whole foods and nutrition, that your body's not getting the vitamins and minerals that it needs.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to supplementation, that's part of why I like testing first, because I like testing and not guessing. But I would say I
I
have a
like
great,
that.
if you go to my, yeah, if you go to my
I like that
website,
metaphor.
Megaphone Functional Health, I have a webinar on there all on gut health, and it's a quick watch, and it gives you some really practical things that you can take supplementation wise. One of them
Mm-hmm.
is a seed based probiotic, and there's a reason that you want to go seed based. It's really putting the correct seeds into your belly to encourage your normal flora to populate.
Right.
And in that webinar, if you go to my website, Megaphone Functional Health, and you download the webinar, it's free. It tells you all how the gut functions and why it goes into dysfunction and how to turn things on. So
Mm-hmm.
Probiotic is a great one, seed-based probiotic. And I give you a link so that you have a discount to my full script. So you can actually get
Okay.
discounts on the supplements that I suggest.
Okay.
I also suggest some bowel movement supplementation. People
Hey,
would think that I would say
I
vitamins,
won't knock it. I won't knock it. Like
like
that
getting
is
your
a
bowels moving
serious
is
ordeal.
good.
It is a serious ordeal.
Yep.
I actually am, like I said, I've been on a bulk stage for like 8 months now. Now we're going back to being that lean look because obviously the summer's time is coming and stuff. So you want to kind of like, you're going to be in a bathing suit and stuff. So you want to kind of like be in a
Mhm.
presentable standpoint. So I'm getting back to that standpoint, and I tell people all the time, man, like stuff for your bowel movement is really what's going to help your cleanse.
Mhm.
And a lot of people always complain, man, I hate protein stuff, man. It makes me want to go to the bathroom so much. I'm like, well, that's
That's
a part
good.
of it. That's you're detoxifying your body. That's the way to go.
Yep. Yeah, so I have a lot of those recommendations in there. I have them on my full script. There's quite a few different things that you don't have access to unless you can get on full script because it's only practitioners that can recommend them.
Hmm.
But another really great thing for most people is magnesium. So
Yep.
magnesium is a key mineral that your body really needs. It also helps move your bowels along.
Yep.
And so I suggest taking magnesium at night. It's very calming to the body. It helps relax your nervous system and your vagal nerve so that you can prepare for bedtime. And then it helps you to have a clear bowel movement in the morning
Hmm.
to have good pushing everything out. So you should feel like you've gotten everything out when you go to the bathroom. You shouldn't have the sensation that there's still more in the belly. Um,
Hmm.
and so magnesium is a great tool for that. You can, as simple as buying Calm from Costco. They have a big old container of it. It's called Calm, and it's just magnesium citrate. So there's different types of magnesium. Magnesium citrate primarily really supports the gut to be able to go to the bathroom. But then there's magnesium glycinate, which is really helpful if you're magnesium deficient because
Hmm.
it absorbs in a different way. So there's different types of, the different not brands, but the different type of
Yeah.
component of magnesium that you can take. So that's a really great one. And then I do tell a lot of people that curcumin is one of my favorite supplements.
I've heard about that one.
Yeah, so
I
curcumin is
that's
something.
like a sleeper in a way because like a lot of people don't really even know about that supplement.
Yeah, so curcumin is it's the root of turmeric, and
Hmm.
it is an incredible inflammation reducer. And so it's actually what I take in place of Tylenol or Advil when I have muscle aches or when I've had
Say
an
that again. Say
I take
that again.
really high amounts of curcumin because you know what? You know what destroys your gut? Tylenol and acetaminophen. It will destroy your gut lining.
I want you to say that again because
Yeah.
I literally do not take anything. Like that's
Yep.
one thing I could take pride in when I was wrestling. I've never took
Yeah.
Motrin,
Tylenol and Advil
Tylenol, none
do
of
not
that
do
stuff.
any good for your gut. They're going to destroy you. So if you have pain, you can buy high doses of curcumin. So you can get it. I like it liposomally, which means going under the tongue. So like liquid,
Hmm. Hmm.
which, you can get that through a practitioner like myself, but you can also go to like Whole Foods or Sprouts and look for curcumin and they'll
Yeah.
have like pills of it. And
Don't
so
they have like a little shot for turmeric at
you can
like
take a
vitamin
shot.
shops and stuff like that?
You can. You don't get as high of a dosage in those little shots that you buy. Those are
Hmm.
really good, like if you're fighting sickness,
Yeah.
because they also have a probiotic in it, and they usually have some pepper in it, which is super helpful for the immune system.
Hmm.
But when you have pain, you need actual curcumin. So it's not just turmeric like ground up. It's actually the
That's what
root.
I was taking for my pain. So like, okay, I
There
see
you
what you're
go.
saying
Good
now.
job. Yeah, it's the root bulb of the turmeric. And so the curcumin, when you get it in higher doses, it will reduce your pain so significantly. I mean, my husband has
Really?
massive back issues. And when he has a flare up or he's like injured himself, he shoveled a bunch of rock in our backyard and, could hardly move from his back hurting so bad. That's what I have him take is curcumin. He takes really high
Okay.
doses of it, stretches really well, goes in our hot tub, all those things.
I need a hot tub, but yeah, stretching does go a long way. Like
Yes.
like when we were talking about with college and stuff like that, I used to be so out of my comfort zone, and my college coach would literally look at me and go, "You're not flexible at all. Like you're very stiff, very stiff." And I didn't understand what he said. I was like, "Man, I'm a basketball player. All you need to do is pass me the ball and I'll shoot it. Like that's all you need me to do." And he was like, "No, you are too stiff. Like you need to be able to move fluent and every
Mhm.
stuff." And he made me start doing this power yoga, and I was so
Oh, yeah.
thrown off on this. I was just looking at him like, "Huh?
Yeah.
What? Power
Yoga is
yoga?"
one of the best workouts ever. It's phenomenal for your body. It helps your lymphatic
Oh,
system.
it is. It really is.
It gets lactic acid out of your muscles. It's so powerful. The stretching is just so good. And honestly, people that can't lift weights, like if sometimes I work with people that have actually often I work with a lot of people that have autoimmune diseases where they have like significant joint pain from
Mhm.
disease for a lot of years. And so lifting can be very like painful on their
Oh, it
joints.
tears your body up. It's not good for you. It tears
Yeah.
your body
So
up.
so yoga is like such a great option for that because
Uh-huh.
it's helping strengthen muscle by holding poses for a long time.
Yep.
And people will say, "Oh, but my wrists hurt. I can't do yoga." There's so many yoga things you can do that don't involve going in downward dog. There's plenty of things that you can do to like really strengthen the body with just yoga alone and body weight. So,
Yeah. I like how you said the downward dog, like the power yoga thing. That's what threw me off the hardest was just like, I'm not doing that.
well, it's a
Like,
downward
I'm
dog.
not doing that. I was like, no. And then I got broke out of my comfort zone. And the funny thing is, like, right after I did basketball thing, I came back home to be a dad and stuff like that, and stuff happened there. And then I got into the world of professional wrestling. Yoga really makes a longevity for that sport because you're doing like a WWE standpoint, so it's not like you're necessarily trying to destroy your opponent. You're trying to flow with that character, whatever.
Yep.
And you're gonna get one thing that people used to credit about my character is I could get stretched all over the daggone ring, and like it just looked like I'm okay. And I told people all the time, I was like, man, it was yoga, and they would throw ribs on me so bad, like, man, you
Yeah.
did yoga and stuff. I'm like, man, go check out DDP, man. That man's like 60 years old, flexible as can be because he takes care of himself like that. And some of the
Well,
people, after they knocked me down, they were like, oh, man, I might try this yoga thing out.
look at how many football players back in the day, they
Yeah.
started having to take ballet classes. Why? Because it
Yep.
stretches you
You're
and it
working
puts
on your
you
tippy
in balance,
toes. You have to
right?
work on your tippy toes. Like,
Mhm.
one thing I didn't know about this when I was in college was like, for your speed for running, you're running off your tippy toes. You're not running off of a flat surface on your foot. You're running off your stride on tippy toes. And like that used to throw me off so bad because I was just like you would seriously like for constantly a whole week or so. My coach would just make me sit here and do like calf raises and stuff. Just get used to putting pressure on my tippy toes. I'm like, you didn't do this in high school? I was like, no, like I didn't. We were taught based off of talent. It wasn't based off of like, oh, this is how I get you to the next level, stuff like that. It's like, no, like you were running off your tippy toes. And
Yeah.
my mom and them like to joke about my toe all the time. We're like, man, it looks like your toes broke. I was like, no, just because I've been running off my freaking tippy toes for so long, it's just like my foot just angles into that, so it's normal to me. Especially
Yeah.
wearing football cleats and stuff like that. Like how you said with the ballet thing, you have to learn on footwork, your motion, how to go with the flow and stuff like that. These are
Yep.
all things to help improve longevity. And that's one thing
Totally.
I will praise about athletes nowadays is the health standpoint, all of them are on point. All
Yep.
of them. Your linemen are running like a running back on a 40s. It is unheard of.
Yeah.
Because it used to be back then it was just a bunch of bodybuilders running a short distance and just annihilating somebody. Now it's just like a health standpoint, we are making a difference in it. Yes, it doesn't make it so exciting sometimes in football, but longevity wise, all these players are going to sit here and go, you know what? Thank you. I may have been upset about April 15th playing the Florida State and they hit me with a targeting, but in the long run, I appreciate it because I didn't get hurt more. And when I
Yeah.
was a wrestler, when I got these concussions, I'm not thinking anything of them. I mean, when you had your first one, you knew you had one. You felt
Yeah.
it, whatever. You felt just different. But when you kept doing it and kept having them, it's just like a regular thing. Like I used to joke about it, and one guy, and shout out to my boy Mad Dog on them, was like they would say you need to watch your bump card, and I started when I was 23 years old. I thought it was a joke. I was like, you know what? I'll worry about that when I'm like in my 40s. And rest is history. I've retired. I had to drop out of wrestling at 28 years old. Like I said, I started at 23, stopped at stopped at almost at 29. Um, but after that, like you got to be alert of what bumps you take, how to take care of yourself, how to get yourself fixed, stuff like that. And these things, it's crazy like how all that is like in a revolving circle, and and one of those things is what has a process to get everything to keep going.
Yeah.
And it's just it's crazy to believe like how we talk about gut health and stuff like that. People don't realize how much it affects people. And it's not just based off of look or what, it's based off of your body stature. So say like if you have bad gut health, it could cause it can cause you to have side problems because guess what? You're having to carry a certain amount of weight that you're not used to. Your
Yeah.
arms, it's gonna have to force an extra energy to push up or something like that. People don't realize these are such serious things that literally need to be approached and make a difference out. It's not, oh, you need to go to the gym and get a six pack. No, you just need to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Get up and be active. Get up and do something. Um, Eat a salad sometimes.
Right.
I mean, and I ain't saying one of these salads that you buy at a store and stuff is already pre-made. I'm saying go home, cut the salad,
Yep.
lettuce, peppers, whatever you want, and make it homemade. And that's one key of a diet. If anybody wants to know, start eating more homemade food
Yes.
because that is the big key factor. And that's one reason when I turned 30, I started noticing stuff because we used to eat out a lot. Because I was just like, when I was wrestling, I was like, I ain't cooking. I ain't gonna do this. Like I work at a warehouse. I'm sweating all day. So you're like, you know what? I earned Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever that was today. And when you start eating so much of it, you start feeling sluggish. You feel less encouraged to do stuff. And one thing I've learned being 30 now is I've never had this feeling before. Like sometimes I'm like dictating if I even want to go work out that day. And it's
Yeah.
just like if I don't, I'm upset. Like I feel like in my head constantly like, why didn't I go to the gym? Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do this? Because
Yeah.
I work 3 days a week and I'm home with my daughter for the four while my wife's at work, and then I don't go to the gym until they go to bed. So it revolves basically when Annabelle's ready to go to bed because I have to
Yeah.
wait until she fully sleeps to even leave the house. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'll just go in the garage and do something. If I know my workout session doesn't require like so much weight or so much different things, I could work out at home and stuff like that if I had the equipment. But it's just a different element. Like my wife and them always ask me, like, man, you got a gym and basically in your garage. Like, why don't you just do it there? And I'm like, it's a different thing for me. Like
Right.
me going to the gym, I know for a fact I'm going there to work out. I'm not gonna have no distractions. I work out at home. My wife asked me to take out the trash. Go do this, and it's just like drop
Yeah.
it. I'm like, I didn't drink my pre-workout today. Nope.
For sure. For sure.
It's just that mindset. I tell people numerous times, like I've always wanted to gym at my house. I've always wanted to gym at home, and I have it. But it's like on my off days, I'll use it because it's like it's there. I'm gonna make sure I still use it because I'm not just gonna have it in here just to take up space in the house. But
Right.
it's just that mindset to me. Like if I'm at the gym, I'm in my zone, no distractions, good. I'm at home, there's gonna be somebody knocking on the door in a minute or two, and it's just gonna keep repeating until I get out, and then just like I'm gonna get thrown off and get discouraged, and I'm gonna just be upset. And it's just like, man, I could have went to the gym. Just could have went to the gym. And it's
Yeah.
just like these little things that people the excuse level is just it's unparalleled in ways, and it's just like
Yep.
I tell people all the time, if you're comfortable the way you feel and you are happy the way you feel, which most of them aren't. I don't care who they are. I don't care what they say. If you're sitting here posting a picture like, man, this is how I used to look. When you say something like that, I already know for a fact you're not comfortable the way you are. I can already tell you are not happy of where you are at now. Because now, financially and stuff like that, you're great. But health wise and your mentally ability, you're not there.
Yep.
Because you're discouraged because you're sitting looking at stuff on the past. And that's one thing I look at all the time is like if you're comfortable, cool. But if you feel like you need to do something, go take a walk.
Yeah.
Go do a stretch. You don't even have to go to the gym. Just go stretch. You will feel so much better. That will be your energy drink for that day. If
Yep.
you literally just get up and stretch, you'd be amazed at how much more energetic a day you can be. How
Preach
much
that.
more excited you are on a day. Like
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, like they look at me all the time like, man, it must be easy for you and blah blah blah. And I'm like, how? I was like, no. I do a podcast. I'm a stay-at-home dad. I go work for 3 days. I have to be a husband. I have to be the superhero for everybody's needs and wants and every possibility. Y'all can't give me an excuse to say, hey, I don't have enough time. Like that, I hate that more than anything in the world when I hear
Yep.
these excuses. Because I'm like, I do a podcast. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I put all these perspectives into that and I still get stuff done
Yeah.
because that is just how I feel. That's how
Well,
I function.
I think that's where it's important to have tools in your tool belt. So someone like myself, like if you're feeling like you don't have the energy to be able to complete that, then there's something going on, right? Like, I mean, some of it can be laziness. Sometimes people, it's laziness, and there's nothing I can do about laziness.
We're being nice on this episode when you're saying sometimes.
Right. I can't fix it, but I do experience people that are like, you just don't even understand how tired I am. And I'm like, I do understand because I know what it feels like to have gotten really sick and for
Mhm.
you not to feel like you can do any movement. And so then you really do need someone like myself to help get to the root issues of what's going on so that you can go and work out on a consistent basis and feel
Mhm.
like you have energy to do all the things that you need to do. So, well, it's so great to be with you today. Thanks so much
Absolutely.
for having me. And
I do want I want one last question real quick.
yeah,
So sleeping, what
yeah,
is the big factor of that on gut health and stuff like that? And then after
yeah.
that,
So
I want you to get your plugs and stuff like that, and all the links will be on below. But this was
yeah, so
absolutely fun.
when people will ask me like what's the number one thing that you can do to change your health, I tell them sleep. Sleep is the number one thing that drives your body to replenish itself and to regenerate cells that you've used
Hmm.
throughout the day. And so sleeping good is critical. If you can't sleep, almost every single time, I don't have a single client that comes to me that says, I don't sleep well, that doesn't have gut issues because it disrupts your body's ability to produce melatonin. And melatonin is what
Hmm.
is the hormone that helps you sleep and puts you to bed
Hmm.
and keeps you asleep. Oftentimes, they don't have enough glutathione in their gut, and that causes a lot of disruption in sleep.
Hmm.
If there is any parasitical activity going on in their gut, then that has to be killed off. A lot of times that will shoot cortisol up at night and that will keep you from sleeping. So if you don't sleep well, you absolutely need to do gut work because it means that there is a direct correlation. There's always direct correlation between gut dysfunction and lack of sleep and like the inability to sleep. Now, there are things that you need to do to support your sleep. You can't drink alcohol. Alcohol like makes you not sleep.
Preach that again.
People always think, well, it makes me sleepy and it helps me fall asleep. It doesn't. It interrupts your sleep like horribly. And don't get me wrong, I love a good cocktail, I love a good beer, but it's got to be on the like very special occasion, not on the
Yep.
regular every night because
Yep.
you will not sleep well. The other thing that disrupts your sleep terribly is sugar. So sugar is such a disruptor of sleep. And a lot of times when do we want sugar? Right before bed. So we spike our glucose and then we go to sleep and we're asking our body to try and burn glucose while we sleep. And
Mm-hmm.
so then it wakes you up. So what happens about 3 or 4 later after you've had that sugar, you're going to wake up in the middle of the night and your body's going to go, I'm awake now because now I need to balance out that glucose.
Yep,
Okay.
I
So
like it.
sugar is a big disruptor for that. And then just good sleep habits. So going to bed by 10 p.m. You get the most benefit out of sleep from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. It's as if you slept 4 hours in those 2 hours. It's your most
Mhm.
regenerative cycle of sleep is from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight.
I will definitely say I do lack on that. Like
I know it's
sleeping,
a really hard one. It's a very
especially when I'm like I tell you, I go to the gym right after they go to bed. Like that's sometimes like 1 or 2 in the morning, and I may get six or 6 or 7 good hours of sleep. That's a good day. Um, but those are things like I've been trying to work on and stuff like that. But
yeah.
it's just because I work a night shift on 3 days that I work, and then when I'm home, it's just like my schedule is just it's
It's
all over the place. It's
packed.
just
Yeah. Yeah, so sleep is really key. I mean, there's a lot of things, other things that really impact your sleep. So watching TV before you go to bed, which I'm terrible at this. I'm like the queen of
really.
brain is
I
super.
thought that would help you go to sleep.
No, because it's got it has blue light, and blue light is what
Okay.
wakes up your brain. And so I mean you can wear your like, your protective eyewear, your yellow glasses while you watch blue blocker glasses while you watch TV at night. But falling asleep to the TV is a bad habit. And I know it's a really common one for most people, but if you're struggling to sleep, that's one of the things I tell people to take out is to have your room be very dark without like try to plug your phone in outside of the bedroom so that you just like
Really?
don't have it near you so that there's no like electromagnetic
Oh,
activity
okay.
going while you're
Yeah.
sleeping. Also, we tend to reach for a phone if you wake up in the night, and that's blue light that immediately is like putting that in your eye and it wakes up your brain. Um, and so you get that from a TV as well. So and computer screen.
Okay.
So I tell people don't work super late at night. Like it's just not. I know sometimes people have to work in the evening, but when you work too late, it's not good.
Hey, there you go, guys. Renee, this was an absolute pleasure. Is there any last minute shout outs you want to do? Also, guys, like I said before, the links will be below so you could check it out and even talk to her and see if you really need to help your gut health.
Yes.
I am not perfect. She was putting me on blast right there about the sleeping thing because that is something I really lack more than anything
Yeah.
on that scenario is the sleep part.
Yeah, I mean, I would tell people go to my website, Megaphone Functional Health. There's a great webinar for you to download there that it gives you all the information on great gut health and what it looks like to really help the process of beginning restoration of your gut.
Mhm.
I work with people one-on-one and in group coaching. So, and they get to have access to all the lab testing that I do as well. So I'd love to talk with you. Reach out.
Absolutely. Renee, this was absolute pleasure. I
Yeah,
hope you have a great rest of your day.
I hope you do too.
All right, thank you. All right, guys, time to go home cue. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Renee Bergman for coming on today and educating all of us. Like, I all the stuff I know about fitness, nutrition, stuff like that, still newer things like the turmeric thing. Like, guys, I used to take the little shots, and that was literally how I felt like I could take away pain and stuff like that. So, definitely gonna look into those more on those. But, guys, like I said, if you haven't, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to all our platforms, social media, everything. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, they're all down there. Check it out. Follow Buzzing with Marlo. Like. Also, guys, if you are on the real Buzzing with Marlo page, which we are live on here right now, make sure you leave a review. It helps grow. It helps us keep growing and making it more. Guys, like I said, also, if you haven't, check out the bonfire shop. Guys, look at these sweet, sweet tank tops. And we got five different colors. Five. I can't go wrong with that. 5 different colors that you could pull from. I'm probably gonna buy a blue one soon. I ain't gonna lie to y'all guys. Like I like these things. They're real comfortable. I know for a fact Arm day is going to be a real fun factor today. But guys, this was an absolute blast. Real great chat. And I hope people got something out of this because we all lack something. Like I said, when she was talking about sleep, I will be personally to tell y'all, I lack sleeping. That is something I've had problems with for a long time. I have, even way before I was even on this night shift, like when I first started working at the warehouse, I worked on a night shift. So literally sleeping was me sleeping through the day. And then I alternated and went to the morning shift. And that was still hard for me. I still wouldn't even go to bed until like 11 or 12. Sometimes I could go to bed at 8 and still not find a way to sleep until 11, knowing I got to get back at 3 a.m. to go into work at like 4 or 5. Like, it's just crazy. Something I still struggle on a little bit, but luckily, I'm definitely trying to work on it and improve it as much as I can. But guys, if y'all have, go on those links below. Check her out. Look at some of the stuff that she's doing. Check out one of the groups. You're getting a nice little discount also just to have a constellation talk about it. And the labs, like the one thing that really was really cool to find out was about your hair and find out what nutrition and stuff like that, guys. I might actually try it out. I mean, I don't really have like real bad health issues and stuff like that, but I'm actually pretty curious. So I might even check it out. But guys, check out Renee. This has also been a great episode. This has been one heck of a fun episode, guys. Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. And guys, we out. Later.